Good looking now, G.
Everybody have to tell you that he made you beautiful. Beautiful. Everybody have to tell you that God made you beautiful. Beautiful.
Hey there, excuse me, miss. No disrespect, you're very precious.
Hello everyone and welcome to The Hype. Today we're going to discuss the question of, are women too afraid to be soft? Have our Miss Independent battle cries made us too rough around the edges? And is that really a bad thing? Tell us what you think. You can join the discussion by posting your opinions on our Facebook page, Philly Hype TV Show, and on Twitter at The Hype TV Show. Be sure to use hashtag Hype TV, Hype on Being Soft. Stay tuned, we'll be right back after this.
Don't walk, walk. Do not enter. Hot dogs. Definitely like hot dogs. Motorcycle club. Everything must go. Ghostly ghouls. Don't look at that, Teddy. Body piercing. Ouch.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
You and I, we be frontin' the game. Put you in the zone, now you're forcing a change. Although I want the same, can't move that way cause I got constraints. I don't wanna confuse things and make us tie loose like new shoestrings. It gets so hard to communicate between friends once feelings get in the way. Yeah.
You're watching The Hype, TV for, by, and about young women.
I definitely think it has changed their roles in relationships, not for a better or worse. It's just how whoever they're in a relationship with views it. I think it definitely changes relationships now, and I mean it's for the better, I think, to be honest, because I mean women they take on a larger role now, and it's sort of like it's okay and like acceptable for like the woman in the relationship to wear the pants.
I think it is like a positive change because like over the years like women didn't have like no independence, no power over nothing, so it's a good thing to at least like show like women are on some type of pedestal and they can do things themselves, don't have to depend on nobody.
And they taking charge.
Definitely think it has an effect on a relationship because usually, traditionally we're brought up to think that men are supposed to be the providers of the household and that women are doing it.
I think there are a lot of relationships where, 20 years ago it would have been like men going out, working, bringing home like a paycheck, and then now you have relationships where it's the opposite, where you have men at home with kids or just taking care of the house, and the women are going out and making all the money and bringing that back to the family.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, that could give the men the look as like, yeah, you guys are like the sweet ones. You guys are the ones that are just sitting back, doing nothing, while the females are out here going to get it.
So it changes relationships because there could be a power struggle there. Who's the breadwinner? Who's making more money? That can also demasculate a man.
Kind of downplays us, I guess you could say, a little bit. Because, all right, basically before it was like, all right, yeah, men can do all of this and the females are just there. But now since, females are being a little more powerful, I guess you could say now.
There's different levels of being independent. There's obviously the one, do your whole everything by yourself. There's also the one, like, you you split the bills down the middle, or like y'all really don't care about bills, you both pull your weight, or there's the one sitting in the house either doing nothing or cheating.
Welcome back. So we just heard what some of you had to say about our topic, and now I'd like to welcome my co-host Blush and our special guest host Donovan West to the conversation. I'd also like to have Courtney joining us while she gets some information from the audience. So welcome. What did you guys think about what did you guys think?
I was just cracking up at the last guy. You know, they either stay at home or they cheat. That was just kind of funny to me.
So how that kind of slickly like,
it's like,
made it out. Yeah. What do you think about the question about, you know, has women becoming more independent changed the dynamics in relationships?
Well, I think that, yes, it has changed the dynamic, but you're really thinking about two things. One, the role versus the emotional space. I mean, that's really what we're talking about. Role, it deals with functionality.
Right.
And so these things need to get done whether or not there's a man there. I understand. I rock out with y'all, no issue. But when you talk about emotional space, now you're talking about something a little different. When you start talking about what experiences led to where you are today. And whether or not you've actually healed from those experiences, and who you are today is a manifestation of those experiences haven't been healed, and now you're walking into a new relationship or your existing relationship just a little bit more wiser and cautious, yet still open and vulnerable. And I think that's the real topic here, because when we talk about, you know, functionality, absolutely, you should run your household if there's no one there. You should, things still need to get done, right?
Still need to get done.
And that's not a problem at all. And when we talk about from a historical standpoint, you know, when you talk about slavery and how the black family was split up, absolutely. The woman was in the house not only to just cook whatever was killed or brought into the house, but more importantly to run the house from top to bottom. And the man was separated from the household. And so historically there's been a chasm that's been created, and it still exists today. But now we start talking about, okay, no one's a slave. Well,
right.
You know, in that sense, right? We're not going to talk about that's another topic. It's a whole other topic. We don't have much time. But the reality is that gap, that chasm still exists. And from a functional standpoint, yeah, there's some submission that may be needed, you know, and that's a dirty word. You heard how quiet it went just now?
Submission?
Yeah. I just got a whole bunch of daggers just now.
Yeah, I just let that go.
I'm wearing a white
It's all great.
I'm surprised I'm not bleeding, you know.
It's all great.
I hope I don't get jumped after the show, but
we're working on it.
Right.
But again, there is some of that changing in terms of the role and responsibilities, but at the core of that is trust.
Right.
Is how can I trust you actually to give you some of those responsibilities, and also having a real-time discussion. In 2014, it doesn't necessarily mean that you handle this roster of responsibilities because you're the man. We really start to look at what are our strengths.
Right.
And let's go ahead with a strengths-based approach towards who handles what responsibility.
Go ahead.
I think that's exactly it. I think it's really about negotiating what works in your relationship.
Absolutely.
Because frankly, you might be much better at taking care of certain things that a woman might traditionally do than I might, and vice versa. Frankly, I might be all right with doing stuff that a woman, many of us go, I'm not going to do that. So I think it just really depends on what works for you and not taking that for granted. I think what I see now in terms of the shift in male-female roles as well as women being soft, I think it's more about really having a conversation and not taking stuff for granted. There's some things you got to do. I mean, I'm the woman here. I mean, God set it up where I got to have the babies. True, there's some things we do. But and if he can do that, we got a whole different discussion. But on the flip side of that, I think everything else should be a function of what works for you in your particular relationship. I have a client that I deal with, and for some things outside of here, and I think it's the most unorthodox thing when I talk to a lot of people about her situation. She lives in the city, she lives in the suburbs, and he lives in the city, and they kind of have this thing where they continuously date each other, but they wanted the commitment, they got married, they did all of that good stuff, and a lot of people are very critical about that, but it works for them.
Wait, they live separately?
Yes, like she has her own house and he lives downtown and he has his own condo. They go on vacation, they visit, they do, and it's like they're forever dating, but because they spent so much time and money together, they wanted to have that kind of commitment for their own purposes.
Right.
But ultimately, a lot of people look at them like, what?
Like I am?
But yeah, like that. I'm like, what? It really depends on what works for you in your relationship. And I think that's where we are. I think we're forcing people to not take for granted that it ought to be this way.
Right.
It's what works for you.
I agree with that. What do you think, Courtney?
So we've been talking a lot and everyone's been commenting here, and we have a first comment next to us. Yes.
I think it has to do with sometimes your job too. If you're in a job or a woman's in a job where she is a boss or she has a higher ranking job and she may be used to that control, and then when she goes home it may be different and they may not be okay with it. But I think it has to do with your job, and like I said, like maybe your ranking in your job and your like, you know, like if you're a boss or like I said, something like that.
I think that's a great point. Like, we can have a role and we might take it on in all aspects of our lives. We're already, as women, I think of the poem by Mona Lake Jones, A Room Full of Sisters, and when she mentioned the different hats, where the cooks, where the chefs, where the family managers, where you do all these different things within our households, and depending if you have a spouse or not, that's a lot to take on. And then if you have another power position, be able to turn it off, soften, and what have you, it could be hard and challenging.
I think it's challenging, but I think what's also interesting is that it becomes a one-size-fits-all kind of approach to how you function in your life, and that's very problematic because you're not really taking into account the difference that individual brings to the table in terms of the dynamics in the household, or even if it's at the job. You can be a boss, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to tell everyone what to do. You need to also create collaborative situations where you're listening first and then you can lead.
I agree with that. I think it also, one of the things that I'm hearing from everyone is that it depends, it's a case-by-case basis, and it's not necessarily that being more independent means that this is going to break up your relationship or anything like that. It depends on who the person is. We'll have more about this information right after this. Stay tuned.
Are you a local artist and you would like to have your music featured on The Hype? Well, we might be looking for you. We're looking for respectful hip-hop, R&B and soul, dance and house music, inspirational music, and rock and pop. Please send us the following. We need 5 pictures, 5 edited tracks, 1 music video if you have it, and a bio of the artist. Send it to thehypetvshow@gmail.com. You're watching The Hype, TV for, by, and about young women.
The independence movement more has to do with the woman being independent. Has nothing really to do with her emotions, because I know plenty of people who are emotional, male and female.
Women are very emotional creatures, and they're made that way just, by nature. You guys bear life, so of course you're going to have a lot more going on inside. I think a lot of women play it off and try to seem a lot stronger and less vulnerable because they have that title and they have walls up.
It varies between each person. I think everyone's a different kind of person. Some people are more willing to open up but still keep the strong, independent attitude, and I think you also have women where they feel that in order to be strong and independent, they can't let that softer part of them come out.
Being independent, it kind of can put that wall up for a lot of women.
But it's still I don't know, it's probably feelings behind it, because it's while you doing that, it's still always something behind closed doors that any independent female can be going through. You just don't know. Everybody have feelings and emotions at the end of the day.
I don't think a woman being an independent person changes their vulnerability in a relationship. I think they could just be just as vulnerable as a woman who is dependent.
I think if you're more of an independent female, that doesn't make you soft. I think me personally, I think that would make the female more a stronger person. If you're out there, getting it on your own, being more independent, why would somebody say like what's soft about that?
I feel like every woman, no matter how strong she appears to be, is definitely vulnerable to some degree.
Welcome back. Now, if you're watching us at home, school, or wherever you are, you can join the conversation by posting your comments online. Visit our website, thehypetvshow.com, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and then post your comment. So, what do you guys think about the comments that we heard from our
independence and whether or not that affects someone emotionally? I agree 110% that it absolutely does. I mean, being independent is about, equality and, parity in the workplace, in your careers, and the experience that you have in those professions, as well as anywhere else you walk. And I think at some point there's a sense of, well, I may need to be like a man or be that stoic figure. But I think the challenge is at the end of the day, how do you not keep your emotions in a certain kind of space to do that? Because at some point when you're trying to, shatter the stereotype in certain instances when it comes to the workplace, you're going to get those buttons pushed.
Right.
And how do you not respond in a way that qualifies someone's stereotype?
And I think the important thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is that with men, it is synonymous that you are just independent. You just come out independent. But for a woman, it's a transformation. It's like she is not independent until she just stands up and says, I'm independent. You know what I mean?
Right,
Why is that? Why can't a woman come out being independent? Why does she have to go through some change in her life, or she has a waiting to exhale moment, or you know what I mean? But when it's men, it's like, he's independent. There's no, have you ever heard, I want a strong, independent man?
Exactly. True that.
I haven't. I heard I want a strong, independent woman, as if being a woman means that you're leaning on something. So I think to your point, saying that there is a correlation between being independent and your emotions, because you are already being told that you are not who you are. You know what I'm saying? You're already being told fresh out the gate that you need to work to be independent. You're not already independent.
Correct.
And so you're already pushing forth a boundary, and that affects your emotions. It would affect anybody's emotions.
One of the things I think about as somebody who's dating, and I think have so many new dates, is amazing. I never get to the guy I've been dating for a long time. But what I think about often, I date for the emotional component. I am the independent woman. I don't need you for your money in that respect. I can take care of me. But what I actually look for, I look for my emotional confidant. I look for my friend. I look for the guy that, hey, what are you doing? I'm going to ride my bike. I'm going skating. You want to catch a movie? Or if I want to have a conversation about something, I feel like I need to be able to connect with you emotionally and intellectually. Right. And where I come from, if I can't do that, I don't need you. Because frankly, when it comes to money and stuff like that, what you're giving me is gravy if you are giving me something. And there's nothing wrong with that. But ultimately, I'm looking for somebody who wants to be with me because they like me. Right. And ultimately, because I like him. And what I tend to find where the money issue and the independence comes in is that when you're dating somebody, if he doesn't have himself together, whatever that means for him, then your independence becomes an issue because he's feeling some kind of way, and then it becomes a clash, as I was saying when we went to break. And then it becomes, well, I feel like I need to control everything because I ultimately don't trust you to do it. That's when I think that becomes a problem. But ultimately, I think independence, when you have two people that are as equally yoked as possible, when they're on the same page with certain expectations and what they come to the table with, I think it's a lot easier to figure out what value you bring other than just, frankly, looking for the typical somebody's going to pay for everything. It becomes greater than that. You're looking at why are we connected?
Right. Courtney, do you or the audience have any comments?
Yeah, actually, a lot of us have some comments, and I just want to make sure everyone knows we're not the only emotional people. Men are just as emotional. That was my first initial reaction. Like, men are very weird with how they express their emotions, but yes,
they are. It's true. Everybody is an emotional person.
Yes.
So I'll respond to that just a little bit later.
Yes, and our first comment,
Hi, my name is Nicole, and speaking on being independent and being soft as women, I was taught and I learned it goes back to Adam and Eve. We were born, created from the rib as partnership, and the men led. So when we come out of the partnership, that's when our independent as women and running the household, because men are head of household. So I think that's where that come in, and then we're coming out as women as being independent. Us being not in a relationship, we're already taught and to be independent on ourselves as women for our partner. So, you know, the independentness and everybody's presumption about being independent, I think is from partnership as women and men. And then us as being soft, we were created soft. All women are soft. But far as us being hard, yes, thank you. Us being hard, I think, is through life struggles. Life struggles as being single parent, position in jobs, experiences. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I know for myself, one of the things that I struggle with when we start talking about independence is, you know, how are we defining independence?
Yes.
Because to me, if you are able to, you know, do what you need to do, that's independence to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what are we defining as independence? And I think that's where, you know, it starts to become, I want an independent woman, because you're defining independence as something different than what it actually is. You know what I'm saying? I know you had something you wanted to say.
But no, you're absolutely right about that. And also, in addition to that, what you know, when you think about independence is about knowledge of yourself. It's about being aware of yourself and what you like and what your tendencies are, as opposed to going with the whole crowd or going, you know, along with the stereotype in terms of what a woman should want and what she needs and things of that nature. So if you are at dinner and you feel like paying, go ahead and pay. That's an independent woman. Or if you don't want to, that's fine. I mean, as long as you're tuned in, I think that's what part of that whole notion of being independent. The other thing, you know, and you know, Courtney, of course, you know, I was going to get to you about your comment about men being more emotional. Let me just let you.
Okay. We'll get into that. I know you're about to go into a whole thing.
I'm gonna calm down.
We're going to go to a commercial break and we'll be back right after this.
Yes, because he's being emotional.
Hey, this is Jennifer Hudson, and you're watching The Hype.
TV for, by, and about young women.
Don't walk. Don't walk. Walk. Do not enter. Hot dogs. Definitely like hot dogs. Motorcycle club. Everything must go. Ghostly ghouls. Don't look at that, Teddy. Body piercing. Ouch.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Alright, so today on Lifestyles and Relationships, we're going to talk a little bit about sexting. Now, sexting has become a popular trend among young people and some adults. Sexting is when you send out nude photos or sexual messages either through your cell phone or through instant messaging. Now, a lot of the problems with sending a picture or sending these messages is that you never know who the person you're sending it to is ever going to send it out to someone else, or if they're going to upload it to Facebook or Twitter or MySpace or any other social network. So it's just best not to do it. A lot of the times you're in a relationship and your guy may say, hey boo, can you send me a picture of you? Or I'm missing you, can you send me a picture? Or even guys may send you a picture of showing how big they are or how small they are. But at the end of the day, you don't want to send these out, because if you find yourself on Facebook or Twitter or MySpace, you're going to be very embarrassed, whether it be a video or a picture. And now that colleges and jobs are looking people up, you don't want that to be out to the media or for other people to see. So anything that you wouldn't be willing to show your mother or show your boss or show a college professor, then don't put it out. 20% of teens ages 13 and 19 and 30% of young adults ages 20 to 26 are sexting. And it's becoming a really huge problem. Also, with sexting, you can get charged with criminal offenses, whether it be pornography or sexual harassment with someone. So you don't want to take the risk of affecting your future or affecting your own personal peace of mind. That's all for today on Lifestyles and Relationships. I'm Keisha. Bye.
You're watching The Hype, TV for, by, and about young women.
Welcome back. We were just talking about being independent and what it means to be soft, or does it even affect the dynamics of the relationship? So we're going to go back to the audience and see if anyone has a question.
Yes, we do.
I have a comment, actually. Cool. It's about the whole women being hard and everything. Mm-hmm. Some women are scared to open up and be soft because they don't want to be, not taken seriously. Like for business women, if they're soft or they're very elegant, then people are like, oh, I don't take her seriously because, she's too soft. She'll get hurt easily in this type of business. And some other women, they're hard because they don't want to get hurt by men or family members or anything to that matter. They don't want to get hurt by people, period. Mm-hmm. So they have to be hard and they have to be like, oh no, I'm not that type of, I'm not soft. I will do this. I can do this by myself. I'm my own person and stuff like that. So that's why I think women are more hard now and not more soft and more, relaxed and everything.
Thank you.
Not finding that balance, that you mentioned.
Finding that balance. Thank you. So one of the things that I'm seeing from the conversation we had today is the important thing is to realize that it's about who you are, figuring out what works best for you and not letting anybody else or any other stereotype dictate how you behave. If you're independent and you don't take mess from anybody, that doesn't make you anything else but independent. You don't take mess from anybody. That's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to realize that it's about who you are and who you want to be and finding the balance. So I'd like to thank our guest, Donovan West. Thank you for watching and joining us. If you would like to learn more about the music you heard on today's show, or if you would like to submit original music or be a member of our studio audience, please visit our website at thehypetvshow.com. I'm Jessica Charles, and for Courtney, Blush, and the whole Hype team, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good looking now, G. Everybody has to tell you that you're beautiful. Beautiful. You're so beautiful. God made you beautiful. Beautiful. Hey there, excuse me, miss. No disrespect, you're very precious. Please tell me what's your name. You're a precious gem and God's to blame. No, I'm not trying to spit the game, cause it's your soul I'm trying to claim. You probably never heard of this. I love a affair without a kiss. All the diamonds in the world could never hold you. You're